There we go.
Good start.
Right, it should be live. Hello everybody and welcome to Suzuka for round 10 of the Freshman League. Joined once again by Tson028 and...
Hey guys, it's me, X90G, back for round 10 here in the Freshman League at Suzuka in Japan, and hopefully it should be an awesome race tonight.
Yeah, massively looking forward to this one, Natty. The championship cannot be won today. Nonetheless, I'm sure it's going to be an absolute corker. Every time you start these streams, you seem to be spectating Tiger Assassin. Anyway, he's going to start his lap now. Let's see if there's anyone actually on the lap further round the track. Got Brizzy now coming through the never-ending S's here in the first set. So got yellow flags at 130. That's a Ferrari that's gone off there. This should be live. Okay, it's definitely not Abu Dhabi round 10. Don't know why Twitch has done that. Twitch, why have you forsaken me? Okay, hang on a minute. Right, I'm going to assume that it's working. Anyway, Brosy coming round what's very imaginatively named the Hairpin, or Hairpin 1 I think. But very, very cool track this, Nat. I think one of the favourite amongst drivers and commentators alike. So yeah, why don't you talk us through a little bit about this track?
Yeah, Suzuka, track known for its history. Obviously the battles between Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost in the past. It has, I want to say 17 corners, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
17 corners, and yeah, it should provide some great racing. Obviously, I think it was Alonso and Raikkonen side by side into turn 1, and a few overtakes get down at 130R. So hopefully, it should be an interesting race tonight.
And Brizzy sets the gauntlet then with a 1 minute 30.7. Jutsukev immediately beats out on the 28.6. JMB Surreal now goes to provisional pole. Rick Holt now goes to the provisional pole with 26.8. So already some very fast times being put on the clock here. Just to run you through the replacement drivers for today. We've got Rick Holt in the Mercedes replacing Alex Mack. JMB Surreal is replacing Vidja. I believe we have one more as well, if I can find them. Not at the moment. I think those are the only two that we have. Everyone else is in their usual car. Absolute hasn't validated that lap time actually on the medium, so we'll have to go again on those. Strategy here, Naki, is a bit of a difficult one. Obviously quite a high tyre wear track with that first sector being so twisty. The cars, the tyres even, do get a lot of energy put through them in the lap round here. So what would you say is it a borderline soft to medium, or are we looking more soft to hard?
I reckon if it's clearer and the track temperatures are hotter, then I reckon most of the drivers will try the soft to hard. But I think if someone gets a bit of clean air, maybe in the midfield or out front, they might try and stretch a soft to medium. Obviously, an early safety car is going to help stretch the soft tyres, so maybe pitting around lap 11 from the softs onto mediums might see them go to the end.
Yeah, certainly. We'll have to wait and see what happens here. But obviously a track where incidents can happen, and obviously this track has seen quite a high percentage of safety cars in real life. I think something like 82% from the last 10 years or something like that. But we're going to see what happens there, because obviously the Freshman League is a very topsy-turvy league at times. Actually, Tigers in third, and they're 28.4 at the moment on those soft tyres as we come through turn 1. But we have seen big first lap incidents, which of course, you know, early safety cars, early virtual safety cars, and etc. But hopefully round here we won't get any of that. I'm sure the drivers will be doing their best to keep it nice and clean for us. But actually, a quick word on Rick Holt. Won the Academy League on a couple of weeks ago actually in the USA, but has come up here into the Freshman League, Natty, and has automatically made a claim for himself going to provisional pole.
Yeah, he's 1.2 seconds clear of RC8 at the moment. The 26.8, a competitive time from him, the only driver so far to get into the 26s, and indeed past the 27s, so a competitive lap time early on. We'll have to see if anyone can get close to beating or matching him.
Well, yeah, he's 1.2 seconds clear of the next fastest car, and indeed our second place man in the championship, RC8 in the Alfa Romeo. So definitely a very, very good time there straight off the bat from Rick Holt. But Tiger has been having progressively good qualifyings in the last couple of races, and is currently sits in third on the 28.4. Let's see if he can improve on that time. Going to come through 130R now on board with the Haas. Easy flat. He's actually going to have no fuel left and no ERS left. So is this a an in-lap then for the Haas. I think there's a racing point behind coming through the Casio triangle now and down through the final corner and towards the line, going to bring it off to the left-hand side, keep it in the middle of the track even, and goes into 8th position in a 29.3. So not a bad lap from Tanturi either.
Not a bad lap from the Racing Point driver, and Jutsu Kev goes up into 2nd place on the medium compounded tyres, 28th for that. Still 1.1 seconds behind Rick Cole. Is on the medium tyres though, so might come out later on in the qualifying session for a fresh set of soft tyres. But a good lap from Jutsu Kev to move himself up to 2nd place.
You would certainly assume so, because 3-lap-old mediums are probably not what you want to be starting the race on here. I think softs don't have the longest lifespan, obviously, but 3-lap-old mediums, you're kind of getting rid of any benefit you have of selecting them from the start in terms of the length of the first stint.
And already done 3 laps, and then Tanturi's on 3-lap-old softs as well. So, and with tyre wear being pretty high around this track, you don't really want to be starting the race on a worn set of tyres.
Yeah, certainly. You've got a car on the grass, so the Williams just trying to get out of the way. One thing it is actually quite hard for cars to do around here is get out of the way when they are being lapped. So that might cause a couple of kerfuffles in the race. I'm sure the drivers will be doing their best to stay out of trouble, obviously, but it's quite a tight circuit here, so it is kind of hard to get out of the way fairly quickly of the leaders. I think Jitsukev will be coming in on this lap. Who else have we got out on the lap? We've got Tanturi coming through the end of Spoon. I think that is an in-lap, though. Have we actually got anybody on a lap? We've got Absolute now, actually. On an out lap, so we'll keep the camera on him. We'll do a quick commentated lap once he gets round to the first corner then. And yeah, just weaving, trying to keep the temperature in the tyres. That's right on board with him now. I'm going to take the UI off the screen so you can see what Absolute is doing then. So through the Casio triangle for this lap with Absolute 11, then up through the gears, short shift through 4th, through 5th, up into 6th. Has the DRS open now, and we fly down towards the first corner. Going to have yellow flags going down here actually. Gone back to green though, so this is going to be a good lap then from Absolute straight off the bat. We're not going to have it invalidated. Keeps it flat for the first bit, braking down into 4th gear, then short shift to 5th after turn 2. Now through the F section, one of the best sections of Formula 1 in my opinion, down into 6th gear. Make sure you get the car hooked up. Good rotation on the front of that Red Bull. He's got a good comfortable wing setting there I think on the front, and he is flying through this opening S section now over the top of the hill then, and then going to come down towards the first couple of decks. So lift flags getting a bit of debris on the right hand side down into 7th gear. You've got a lot of cars on the inside there. I think he's phased him a little bit there. He hasn't carried as much speed as you would expect through the second deck, and now up towards the hairpin. Very imaginative name, I know. He's gone a bit wide though, missed the apex on a short shift now through the gears, up through 4th, up through 5th. I'm going to continue on this lap on the curve straight now on the run down towards Spoon corner. Got an Alfa Romeo on the left hand side, that goes into the grass to keep out of the way, and nearly loses the rear there through Spoon for the second part of Spoon. Now keep it tight to the left hand side and to the curve, run over the curve on exit down into 4th gear, then up through the gears once again as we approach 130. It used to be a little small lift in the 1980s. You used to have big conkers to take this flat out a few years ago. Now it's easy flat. The downforce of these modern day Formula 1 cars, braking at the 50 meter board there for the Casio triangle, runs a bit wide for the second part, and that compromises his line through the third part. Let's get the UI back up on the screen though. See where this time we'll put Absolute, and he goes into 2nd position on 27.4.
Yeah, comparing the sectors between Absolute and Rick Holt, he lost 2 tenths.
And Rick Holt's gone faster.
Lost 2 tenths in the first sector compared to Rick Holt, probably a little bit because of that traffic, but yeah, Rick Holt going even quicker and extends his gap at the top to 8 tenths.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a statement of intent from Rick Holt. He's not messing around today. That is a very, very competitive lap time set there by the Dutch driver, and could be another upset in this championship fight here. Absolutely only in 2nd position at the moment. Jitsukev's gone into the intermediates. Maybe he knows something that we don't.
But, yeah, now he's onto the wets, but RC8's actually 6 tenths up on his lap. So this could be a lap to keep an eye on from the Alfa Romeo driver into the final few corners now.
Yeah,
down to 2nd gear, short shifting up to 3rd. He's run out of ERS, and in the run down to the line, goes up into 3rd place with a 27.6.
So ahead of Jutsukev, but crucially, Natty, that time by Jutsu has been set on a set of medium tyres. I know he does have the softs on now for this next run. Let's see if he's coming out of the pit. So that's a racing point. So I don't believe coming out of the pits just yet. Another Williams is about to venture onto the track. J&B Surreal goes into P6 on a 27.8. So competitive lap time there from the Renault driver as well. We've got a Ferrari off actually somewhere in the first sector. That's going to be Infimella, who's gone off at turn 7 before the first Egner. So that's going to be unfortunate for him. He's lost the rear again. Natty, and he spun on the racing line. Luckily there's no cars coming through. We've got another car off. I think that's Hampton, who's gone off and hit the wall at the turn 4 there. He's got cars coming over the hill. Needs to be careful here coming back on track as there's another Williams coming. I think he's going to have to wait for a gap here because Joseph started his outlap now as well with 5 minutes and 10 seconds left to go in this session. But Natty, I think a lot of drivers getting caught out by a curb in the first sector on the inside of turn 3, the first S section there. I mean, if you touch it a little bit, the car will just spin round on you, and there's nothing you can do. RC8's coming into the pits, I believe. Let's see if anyone on a lap. No, Ace Sava's not going for a lap. Tiger is going for a lap, I believe. Let's ride on board with the Haas driver. Then he comes down in towards turn 1. DRS shuts close through the second part of turn 2 now. Up through the gears once again towards turn 3. Avoid this curve on the inside because that will, as I said, spin you off into Neverland. The Tiger, a driver who has had progressively better qualifyings as the season's gone on. It's a very neat and tidy first sector. Let's see if it reaps any rewards then for the Haas driver. Since joining the team has actually nearly increased their points tally tenfold, I think. So there's really been a massive boost to them in the Constructors' Championship especially. His teammate, Robert Quadfather, currently 6 seconds off the pace down there in P17. So it's a nice injection of youthful vigour to the points tally for that team.
Yeah, I think Haas I think they're
ninth in the
Constructors.
I think they're ahead of Williams.
They're slowly coming back into the Constructors with a few races to go. We've got 3 races after this one, and Tiger's actually 3.5 tenths up on his lap, going through 130R as we go into the final sector, breaking just before the 100 metre board, I think it is.
Yeah, it's been a very neat and tidy lap here from Tiger. Let's see where it puts him there in the grand scheme of things. Comes to the line, it's a 27.7, goes into P4, Natty.
And yeah, P4 just a tenth behind RC8 and ahead of the likes of Ace Saba and Jutsikev. Jutsikev is 1.5 tenths up, I think, on his lap on a fresh set of soft tyres, so keep an eye out on him now. But the top guys still in the pits. RC8 though, not RC8, sorry, Rick Cole, 8 tenths clear of absolute 11 still.
Yeah, I think
still
that
a really quick lap on him.
That really just goes to show how quick Rick Cole actually is, and definitely will be maybe even above this league next season. I think Jutsikev's backed out of that lap now. He had a bad line through his food. He's leaving to get his temperature back in the tyres again. Still has 90% of that ERS deployment left. He's got a mechanical failure. That's weird. I can see the red spanner there in the... Oh, and he's coming to the pits, Natty. Is that qualifying over for Jutsikev? He's only got 2 minutes and 20 seconds left to complete another lap, and is that enough time?
I don't think it is, and he's done his best time on the medium still. So Jutsikev looking like he's going to start this race on the medium compound tyre. There's not going to be enough time to get the car in the garage and then come back out for another lap.
You know, Rick Holt is taking the pits as well, so clearly feeling comfortable with his lap, but that's looking good for a Tiger up there in 4th place at the moment, to have another very strong qualifying here in the Freshman League. I think qualifying and track position are going to be 2 things that are very, very important in this race. I think, Rick Holt has come back out on track with 1 minute and 46 seconds to go. Oh, that's a good camera angle through turn 1, even if the cars are going a bit wide. As yeah, just seeing the drivers trying to stay out of the way of the car. Oh, that is an even better camera angle, that was. Into turn 1, trying to stay out of the way of the fast-moving AlphaTauri there over Tonios. A quick word on the Constructors' Championship. So you were right, Natty. Haas are last, only 1 point behind Williams. In fact, it's a massive battle here, Natty, for 6th position between Renault, Mercedes, Racing Point, Williams, and Haas. So yeah, those are separated by 14 points coming into this race. So big points potentially for the Constructors' Championship. Let's see who can get one up here on rivals and bag a few extra championship points.
And just having a look at people who are on laps, I think many people are improving. Our baggy breath's improving, but the likes of Tonios are down on their lap time by like 8 tenths or so. So not many people look to be improving, but we still got people on out laps with 40 seconds to go. So
Oh, Absolute went wide at turn 2, and that's his lap ruined, Natty.
So that's Absolute's qualifying over 33 seconds left. He's now going to do some donuts on the grass.
Nice. At least he's in good spirits, I guess. But Rick Holt now coming through the final chicane to start his lap. Let's see what lap time the Mercedes driver can do. Let's run on board now with the Mercedes, actually, as you get our DRS open, then down the main straight here at Suzuka. Our current pole position sitter, Rick Holt, on a 26.6, comes down into turn 1, flat out for the first bit, down into 4 for the second part, and up through the gears once again. Going to take it through the S's, through turns 3, now 3, 4, down into 5th gear, goes over the grass a little bit. That's going to lose him some time there. The Red Bull of Absolute just sat on the inside curve there, and I'm going to come through the end of the S's section, down into 4th gear to get some extra rotation, keeps it flat over the hill. Going to come towards the first deck, and now down into 7th gear, flings it in onto the curve, down in another few gears into 3rd gear, goes wide though, bit of understeer there in the car. Going to come up towards the hairpin now, and he is not showing me the sector split times, which is very annoying. But anyway, we've got traffic in front of us now. Our bag of breath from Sabo the Mister. Sabo should be getting out of the way here as well. I think he has had his lap compromised by the Williams. Pulls to the inside. The Ferrari gets out of our way there as we come down towards Spoon now. Down into 6th gear, over the curve. Very aggressive there from Rick Holt, and keeps it close to the curve on the inside of the second part of Spoon as well. And going to be blasting up the hill towards 130R. Easy flat now in these modern day Formula 1 cars as we're coming down the back straight. 2 tenths off on his time, Natty, through 130R. Keeps it to the left hand side, braking at the 50 meter board, down into 3rd gear, down into 2nd gear for the extra rotation. Gets it hooked up beautifully, Natty. Short to stop through the gears now. Rick Holt's coming to the line. It could be even faster from Rick Holt. It is even faster, Natty. It's a 26.4 and goes a full second clear of the rest of the pack here in Suzuka.
An insane lap from Rick Holt, but Jutsi Kev was able to make it round somehow and start a lap. He's currently 3.5 tenths up on his, now 6, almost 7 tenths up on his medium run. It's not going to be enough for pole for now. He's gone a little bit too deep into the penultimate few corners. But Jutsi Kev on the soft tyres. Let's see what lap time he can do as he comes across the line now and goes up into 3rd.
And that
so
pushes
a second behind Rick Holt.
And that pushes Tiger Assassin down into 5th place then on his lap. So we'll be a bit more disappointed with that, but still a very solid qualifying from the Haas driver. J&B Surreal is 10.3 seconds down, so will not be improving on that lap. Brizzy though still on his lap, but has got damaged. I think that's going to be the end of his qualifying as well. It's got drivers out retiring from this session, so that will be the end of their qualifying with about 50 seconds to go here. But anyway, it's a very exciting qualifying session there actually, Natty. I don't think anyone expected Rick Holt to be quite so far clear of the rest of the pack.
The whole, pretty much a second between Absolute and Jutsi Kev, but a really close qualifying session between the top guys, Absolute and J&B Surreal, and even Tony. It's all 5 tenths separating those guys, so really close qualifying from the top guys should make for a close and interesting race.
Yeah, certainly. We are definitely going to have a close battle then between our 3 championship protagonists, and indeed Tiger Assassin only 3 tenths behind Absolute. I think the major talking point from this session though, Natty, Rick Holt, a full second clear of the rest of the pack, the Academy champion, showing us what he can do, following in the steps of Tim V, our previous Academy champion, who I believe won a race here in the Freshman League last season. Didn't win a race, sorry, but had a very competitive performances in the Freshman League last season, and Rick Holt continuing that trend then as the Freshman Academy champion, coming in to the Freshman League and doing well immediately then. So Rick Holt on a 26.4 lays the gauntlet down for the other 2 series left to race at this track this week. On pole for 1 minute 26.4, Absolute 11 and second on 1 minute 27.4. So we'll be hoping to find more time in the race. Jutsi Kev in 3rd, RC8 4th, Tiger Assassin in 5th, J&B through another very good performance from J&B in 6th position, Tonios in 7th, Ace Sabo in 8th, Venturi in 9th, one of his best qualifyings of the season, and Victor will round out your top 10. GSY Bates then starts just outside the top 10 once again this season. Sabah Mister in 12th on those mediums. Infernal in 13th, Daza 14th, Ellison 15th, Brizzy 16th, and I didn't get the other one. So we'll grab those in a sec once they're all on the grid. That does give us a chance, though, to have a look at the chat. Hello to Piero, hello Charles Leclerc, hello Cryptech, Gav obviously here again. Good evening, Black Country Mush. As well, saying traffic. Yeah, traffic's going to be a bit of a problem here this evening, I think, with the lapped cars getting out of the way. Very narrow track. Rick is replacing Alex Mack. I think Gav got there before I did. Yeah, Rick definitely should race in the Super League. Really good performance from him. Let's scroll a bit down later in the chat then. I think Pierre said something about we all know what's going to happen to Tiger. Hopefully today is the day. Today should be the day for Tiger, that he can actually convert a qualifying to a decent race performance. And no glitches just yet in the lobby. Pierre says he's going to try and beat that 26.4 in quali. Yeah, it's going to be difficult to beat that time. I think that's a very solid lap time there from Rick Holt. Dan Schneider's saying Tiger's going to win, so we've got some Tiger Assassin fans in the chat still. Thomas, good to see you in the chat. Turnio's P7, come on, yeah, got more Turnio's fans in the chat. Hopefully he'll be able to move himself further up the grid as well. Thunder saying that Tiger equals the Williams. Although, can I just say though, Thunder, he does have good qualifyings. I'm just going to leave that there. If you want to see what I'm talking about, go watch the Super League races. But anyway, then let's take it for the rest of your grid. I think I got to P16, so Gavra is in 17th position, Robert Codfather 18th, and Hampton handing out the grid in 19th and last position then. So let's see who we have on the different types of tyres, Natty.
And we've got a bit of a mix-up in the bottom half of the top 10. 3 drivers outside the top 10 opting to start on the soft tyres. Bates, Sabo, Infamella, Daza, Bruzzi and Robert Codfather all opting for the medium tyres. So it's going to be interesting to see whether they go medium hard or medium soft, whether they're able to stretch out those medium tyres enough and then go into the softs, or whether they want to not play it safe but kind of have a similar strategy to what the others might do around them.
Yeah, certainly. I think we're going to have to see as well how much Rick Holt can pull away in the opening stint of this race. Let's see what he can do, working it from the lead then. The last time he started on pole this week didn't end too well up at turn 4, but hopefully he'll be avoiding a repeat of that, and we will get to see Rick Holt's true potential in this race then. I think, like you said, Natty, a big mix-up in the strategy here. It just came up on the screen, actually. We're looking at laps 8 to 10 for a soft to hard strategy. I mean, look, otherwise it's a 2-stop soft medium to the end of the race. And maybe our medium runners here can, as you say, eke it out and get onto a set of soft tyres once get underway. But speaking of getting underway, we've got the cars coming to the grid then for the start of the Japanese Grand Prix here in the Freshman League. Hamilton trying to overtake Robert Codfather, just going to give that position back, and indeed does. So Rick Holt pulls into his pole position slot then. Let's wait for the rest of the cars to get lined up here. Hampton coming around the last corner now, so we'll be taking that 19th and last grid position here. Last quick plug before we get the race underway. Don't forget, if you have Twitch Prime, subscribe to the Twitch channel and to the YouTube as well. Just don't forget to get all of that Gavra racing goodness this week as well. We have 2 more races coming for you here in Suzuka, but let's not talk about that now. Let's go to 5 red lights and get ready for the Japanese Grand Prix in the Freshman League, and it's going to be lights out. No, it isn't going to be lights out. I'm going to get the UI back up here so I can see what's going on. Going to have the revs building, and then the lights are out, and away they go then. So Rick Holt has had a good start. Absolutely has an even better start though, and gets past the Mercedes as we come down in towards turn 1. Rick Holt down into second place, absolute leads. A couple cars going a bit wide in the background. We've got a Alpha Tauri round though, Natty. I think he's got back going again. That's Tonio, so Victor even, who's gone wide. No safety cars just yet, and has got front wing damage as well. Tonio with front wing damage off the start straight away, but absolutely with a flyer there, getting past Rick Holt, having to the lead of the race.
Yeah, so from the start, one of the Alpha Tauri, I think we've got McLaren off, it's Hamilton, gone off down at turns 5 or 6, but yeah, an Alpha Tauri spinning and then going back into the middle of the track. A few people got damage I think it was Tonios who span, I think, and a few others in the midfield field have
more
down
yellows.
than Ferrari does. We've got a
Virtual safety car.
There's a Haas off into the
Infamel.
barriers. It's Robert Codfather, and Infamel has got no front wing, so he'll be coming into the pits this lap, I'm sure, for the hard loss leading tyres.
Yeah, certainly. I think. Oh, is he letting them? That probably wasn't. Oh, he's nearly spun it, and Infamel with no front wing. Just trying to get back to the pits as quickly as possible. We do have another virtual safety car then in the freshman league. Another time. We've had that this season. I'm trying to change my camera to the off-board shot, but it wasn't letting me move.
I think Centuri, Sabo, Tonios all have damage from the turn 1. I think a few others might be coming to the pits this lap as well, but the virtual safety car is in, and we're back to green flag racing.
Yeah, so let's see what Rick Holt can do now. But absolutely in front of him, we've got yellows again. Is that a Williams round? It is a Williams round. And GSY Bates has gone off at the final corner. Be careful coming back on the track, because here comes Robert Codfather. He goes down to the inside of the Casio Triangle. Sabo de Mr. Antonios, both in the pits and at the end of lap 1, and that's going to ruin their races, Natty.
Yeah, unfortunate for them. It's going to be tricky for them to come back in this race. The safety car will help their tyres. They got into the hard tyres, so it could be I don't think the hards can go to the end, so they might pit later for mediums or softs. But yeah, safety car will really help out those guys with the damage.
As absolutely taking out that camera there that was sat in the curb at the first segment of them. But he's got Rick Holt live the back of him now in this battle for the lead of the race. Rick Holt did have superior pace in qualifying, a second clear the rest of the pack. But let's see what he can do now in the race, as this is the type of race I absolutely really love to do. Just leading from the front at the moment. They're making it too easy for him, Jitsukev and RC8. Though Rick Holt trying to keep the pressure on. We're not going to get DRS until next lap, when that will be enabled down the main straight. That's the only place where we have DRS round this track, as they're trying to save a bit of his ERS, but Rick Holt does still have more. That gap still less than a second between our front two.
Yeah, I'm looking down at Victor 90, who's got going side by side with Centuri. Centuri still with that wing damage and gets the move done before 130R.
Yeah, nicely done there from Victor, keeping it nice and clean going into 130-yard. Tunchiri as well didn't want to fight it too hard with the extra wing damage and the loss of grip. Absolutely then does the fastest lap of the race onto lap 2. Had DRS enabled, then Tunchiri's actually in with that wing damage now. So that puts his teammate now up into the points. So Edison up into the points now for the racing point team. That's going to be crucial for their fight in the Constructors' Championship. But Tiger, Natty, still in 5th position.
Yeah, impressive drive so far from the Haas driver. He survived lap 1.
We've got a car off. Victor's off in the S's. He's be careful coming back on the track. He's going to lose a bunch of positions down to 12th behind the Williams of our Breath then. Not going to have a safety car just yet, because I think he has got back going, and then got green flags once again in sector 1. But that gap up in front, Natty, down to 0.4 of a second now.
And RCA is also looking closely behind the Red Bull's Jutsukev. And if those two battle a fair bit, it could allow Tiger and JMB Surreal to catch up on the front runners as well. But yeah, Rick Holt didn't get off to the best of starts compared to Absolute. Yellow flag in sector 1, it's Tonios.
AlphaTauri. Tonios has spun round again. It's been a horrible opening stint here for the AlphaTauri drivers. Both of them really seem to be struggling at the moment in the S's section. Obviously, the heavier fuel load may be contributing a bit to that. We've got some beautiful camera shots here at Suzuka. So, Codemasters, you've done a good job with that. One of the few praises you're going to get out of me for this game. But we've got 0.8 in between our front two. DRS has now been enabled, so Rick Holt will be getting that extra boost down the straight that he needs to try and make a move for the lead of the race. Absolutely just the fastest lap of the race once again, though. So he really wants to get away from Rick Holt, but crucially hasn't been able to break that 1 second barrier back to the Mercedes too far to make a move just yet, though, down in towards turn 1. R8 will have the back of Jutsukev as well for that third and final podium position. And actually that's allowing Tiger now to close up onto the back of both of them. That gap now nearly under a second.
So Daz trying to go for a move down the inside of Edison into turn 1. Has gone off a big tank slapper, and no contact made, but just lost the rear and dropped him down to 11th place. Lost the position to Albagrabre. But Ace de Sabo got past JMB Surreal down the start finish straight into turn 1 cleanly. Moved his way up into 6th place. But yeah, RCA not getting past Jutsukev.
And
It's allowed
Tiger's there
Tiger to
now.
close in within 6 tenths.
Yeah, Tiger's there now in this battle for third, so in a legitimate battle for third position there, the Haas driver, and that could be a massive point source for them if you can get this. That gap up in front there, it's actually Rick Holt's gotten past Absolute here for the lead, and I think Absolute's made a mistake somewhere because there wasn't really an opportunity for Rick Holt to get past through the middle sector.
I'm not sure, I think Absolute must have made that mistake somewhere in sector 1 in the S's to enable Rick Holt to get past.
But so far, Absolute has had the stronger race pace of the two, as Edison now picks up a 3-second time penalty. We're going to have this battle for the lead, though, through the Casio Triangle and down the main straight. It'll be advantage Absolute with the DRS. He could get a move for the lead here. Rick Holt knows that he's going to go defensive, pulls his car to the inside line. Here comes Absolute. He's going to go to the outside, going to go wheel to wheel into turn 1 for the lead of the race. Absolute swoops around the outside and up into the lead of the race then. So we caught that one nicely and on camera. RZ trying to make a move on Jitsi Kev as well, but Rick Holt's all over the back of the Red Bull now as he head up the hill through the S's and towards the first of the two Degners. And Absolutely trying not to make the same mistake that he did last time, but at the moment Natty Absolute seems to just have more race pace.
Yeah, and comparing his pace to Russia, he seems to have gone way more aggressive on the ERS, already down to 30% as well as Rick Holt. We saw him last time out, conserving it towards the end of the race, and was able to use it all in the last 5 laps.
Oh, Rick Holt's so close now. Can he make a move into the hairpin?
RC8 on Jurtikev, round the outside into the hairpin. Jurtikev will try and stick it in the inside. We've got yellow flags in sector 1. I think there's a racing point off.
They're going to go wheel to wheel then, Natty, in this rundown towards Spoon, and RC8 just manages to keep ahead of Jitsikev. Natty, we could have a side-by-side moment into 130R here. Our front two separated by 0.3 of a second. Both of them on the overtake button here. Here comes Rick Holt. We're going to go nearly wheel to wheel into 130R. 0.2 of a second now, 1/10 of a second. Rick Holt's going for this on the inside into 130R. Just manages to back out before we get to the apex of the corner. I honestly thought he was going to go for that there, Natty. Jitsikev all over the back of RC8. Off a third, going to dive down the inside into the Casio Triangle, gets the move done though, Natty. Rick Holt though trying to make the move on Absolute again for the lead of this race, get instant payback for this move down into turn 1 on the lap before, but I think Absolute's running with fewer wings on that Red Bull, managing to keep ahead of the Mercedes. Jitsikev is trying to defend from RC8, who hasn't got the DRS advantage though, down the main straight, and we're still having an absolutely titanic battle here for the lead of the race.
And besides that, I just noticed Daz has got wing damage. I think he's picked it up in his battle with Albaga Breath. More yellow flags in sector 1, I think that was.
A Ferrari
but,
going
off. We should hopefully have a really good battle for both the lead and also the podium. Tiger is closing in on this battle.
As Rick Holt is just poking the back of the Red Bull at the moment. It's like a wolf playing with its food. You've got a Renault off in the first sector. That's J&B Surreal who's spun round and will lose a position to Brizzy most likely. But these front 5 even giving us a really good battle here. Tiger the only person in the top 5 to pick up a penalty. But let's see what Rick Holt can do now. He's going to come down this curved and isn't straight bit in towards Spoon Corner. Absolutely maybe struggling a bit with qualifying pace, but he seems to have his car more set up for the race, and this is where they dish out the points then in the championship, as Rick Holt a little bit further behind when he was last lap, so I don't think we're going to have a side-by-side moment into 130R. I mean, that's all I want. Let's get quite a helicopter shot though of our top 2 as they blast through the high-speed left-hander coming down in towards the Casio Triangle for the 6th time then of 27 that we're going to be doing it this race. Rick Holt's got a much better drive though off the final corner. I think he knows it. It's the closest that he's been for a while to Absolute. Going to get another beautiful helicopter shot where we go back onto the ground then in towards turn 1. Can Rick Holt make a move on the Red Bull? I think he's a bit too far behind here, Natty. He's going to need a mistake from the Red Bull to try and get back ahead of him.
Albaga Breath just getting past J&B Surreal. J&B Surreal's picked up wing damage, I think, from that spin. But the gap between Rick Holt and
Absolute's in the grass.
5 seconds.
And Absolute went in the grass a little bit there, and that's going to give Rick Holt maybe a chance for the rest of the S's section, but just manages to keep it ahead of the car behind.
Yeah, almost. Absolute almost losing it there through the S's, but the gap between Jurtikev and Rick Holt was 5.3 seconds, so these front 2 have got some mega pace in the early phases of this race.
Oh, as Rick Holt's only pushing Absolute through the hairpin there. But I think you're exactly right there, Natty. They're doing almost a second a lap now to Jitsi Kev and Darcy on the exact same tyres. So these two really having a very good battle. You've got our Baggy off though as well. He's got back going again. Let's go back up here to our front too. It's Natty there, 2/10 of a second apart again. We could. I'm hoping for it. We're going to have to move into 130R this race. You've got the others in Sector 2 now. I don't know who that's for, but I think they've got back going again. I think it was an Alpha Tauri, really struggling in the opening stint of this race, but yeah, just too far behind to try anything into 130R there. It's going to come through the final chicane once again. Our top two still separated by less than a second. There's nothing between them. You can fit an iPhone between them as Absolute goes to the inside there, trying to break the stitching a bit. That's going to make him vulnerable though. Now to Rick Holt, who might go for a move on the inside. He's going to go down and towards turn one. Does go to the inside. Can he keep it on the inside? He does keep it on the inside, Nasty, and gets himself onto the lead of the race.
Rick Holt diving it down inside. The gap was there and he went for it, and works his Mercedes up into the lead of the race.
And yeah, the game gave me a poor camera angle to watch that one from, unfortunately. But I think Rick Holt now is going to be stepping on it, trying to break that 1 second gap back to Absolute. The gap currently 7/10 of a second. So Absolute's going to be doing his best to try and keep up with the Mercedes.
But yeah, while that battle for the lead was happening, the two Renaults were double stacking, which is why Daz has lost a lot of time as Tonios gets down the inside of Centurion to the final few corners.
As I said, Mr. Now's also made a move on the Hampton for 10th and the final points paying position then. Yeah, listen, Sector 2, Tiger's off! Tiger's off and in the wall at the hairpin, Natty! And after a race that has showed such promise for the Haas driver, makes a mistake at the hairpin, and he's lost the front left end player of his front means he's going to have to come into the pits here, Natty.
I think the pit window is open for the soft runners. We've got McLaren off. I think that's Hampton again.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Facing the wrong way in the first sector.
That's
unfortunate. Surprisingly, haven't seen a full safety car yet. And usually when yellow flags are up for this long,
we've got our top two in the pits here, Natty. As the McLaren has got back going again, as the tyre window comes open. So laps 9 to 11 the game is now telling me for the hard tyres. Both of our top two come in for the hard tyres. Rick Holt out ahead of Absolute, and that gap looks a bit bigger to me, Natty. You've got a McLaren off again. That's Hampton again off at the second dead. There's been a big crash. I think Robert Codfall's gone into him. Still yellow flags in Sector 2. Hampton's got back going again though. Let's see if he can get around the rest of the lap, hopefully with no further incident. But in a way, it was kind of good timing for Tiger sort of to have that spin. We're kind of at the pit stop window now. Off. And Ace Sabo's off now.
And he stopped on track. What's happening with Ace Sabo?
He's got back going again now. I think he's trying to select first gear. Back of breath though.
Ace Sabo.
And our back of breath now ahead of Tiger, so that's enough for the pit stop. So Tiger's lost a lot of time with that spin. Brizzy now behind Ace. Ace Sabo has disconnected, Natty. At least that's what it's saying on Brizzy's screen.
Unfortunate for Ace Sabo. I'll try to send him another invite in the meantime.
Yeah, as I think he's... what has happened there? Was Brizzy not right behind Ace Sabo? Okay. Well, Jitsi Kev is still right behind RC8 at the moment here. It's going to head ourselves on towards lap 9, towards lap 10. I assume both of these two will be coming into the pits fairly shortly for their hard tyres. Let's see if they do. They both indeed do follow each other in. Ace Sabo is going to stay out for another lap, I think, here.
I think it might have just been lag.
Okay. So then, Jutsi Kev is in the pits onto a set of hard tyres. RC8 is in the pits onto a set of hard tyres. They're doing a double stack. Not doing a double stack, sorry, at Alfa Romeo. Rick Holt goes back into the lead of this race and has got a massive gap back to Absolute here, Natty. 2.8 seconds.
I don't know whether Absolute 11 got stuck in traffic or if he made a mistake, but Rick Holt definitely has put the foot down on his outlap. Jutsuka was still behind, or right behind RC8. Was he behind RC8?
Yeah, he was before the pit stops. Yellow's in Sector 2. That's a Williams off at Spoon. GSY Bates off at Spoon.
Sabo's off as well!
Again!
Ace Sabo with front wing damage.
And
Down
we've
at
got
turn
two
7.
cars off at turn 1, a Williams and a Ferrari there. Sabo the Minister tried to go for a move down the inside and it hasn't come off well. Both cars off in the gravel, very reminiscent of Prost and Senna turn 1 in 1990, I think it was. But yeah, that's going to be another incident then down at turn 1 between two cars, and they're both off. I think Ace Sabo's gone round again here now. He's been overtaken now by his teammate and by Jutsukev. Those two still raging on in that battle for third position here. Actually, currently our closest battle on track. Jutsukev looking all over the back of RC8 to come through Spoon through the second part of Spoon now. Back on the power, is going to head up ourselves towards 130 yard. Brizzy now getting past Ace Sabo, who has like no front wing on the front right hand side of that car. Going to ride on board with Jutsukev as he's right behind RC8 now. He's going to head down towards 130 yard in sector 1. Yellows again, Natty. As Jutsukev going to look for a move down the inside, maybe, into the Casio triangle. Backs out of it, though, wisely. Rick Holt does the fastest lap of the race, then. 3.7 seconds now between our front two drivers. But here comes Jutsukev, then, all over the back of RC8. DRS wide open for the Red Bull in towards turn 1. Look to the inside line. I think RC8 seen him and gives him the position, then, so Jutsukev goes into third position here.
Jutsukev up into the podium positions. Ace Sabo comes into the pits to repair the front wing damage and pits onto a set of hard tyres, and Albacabrecht is out. That's
and
down at 130R.
It is, we've got a safety car!
A full safety car!
Right, let's try and see what's happened to Albacabrecht then. As Daz is coming through 130R now, I'm on board with him. Let's see if we can see the wreckage of the Williams here. It has just despawned actually. So thanks for that, Codemasters.
I think he's lost it on the exit curb.
Yeah, I think that is what's happened there. Obviously, high-speed corner, easy thing to do. But will we see anyone come into the pits then? Actually, this has worked out beautifully here for Brizzy and for Victor Natty, both in P5 and P6 at the moment. Haven't made a pit stop yet and can get on a new set of hard tyres and go to the end of the race here.
And it's going to be close between Victor and Tiger. There's 14 seconds between them.
Yeah, certainly. Is that enough time to make a pit stop? Obviously, Tiger has to run. Tiger has to run to the pit limiter, though, doesn't he? Sorry, to the speed limiter. Yeah.
It could be quite close between them guys. A few people at the back have come into the pits. And Zone B has stopped on the track, and absolute 5-second penalty
for speeding in the pit lane. Natty, he's come into the pits actually. That's an odd call from Absolute, certainly. Gone into a set of the medium tyres. That's going to put him behind, though. Well, it's going to put him behind RC8 and RC8 and Jutsukev. The two cars behind him have come in though, so he will be ahead of Tiger Assassin now. He's coming around the final couple of corners through the final chicane. Will he come out ahead of Tonios and Brizzy, who are currently in the pits? He has to run to the prescribed time, and this is going to be close here, Natty. Tiger coming down the pit straight. I think he's going to get ahead of the other two in the pits, indeed has done. The McLaren of Brizzy still in the pit lane there, but with pressure hard tyres on Brizzy and Victor's cars respectively.
Yeah, I think this is a call from everyone to from the softs to come off the softs and onto a set of mediums or hard. I think Robert Codfather's just pitted for the softs.
He has done that. Those will not get until the end of the race, that's for sure. GSY Bates drive through penalty for speeding under this safety car. Let's give us a good chance to have a look at the penalties then. So Jutsukev with the 3-second time penalty. Absolute with 5 seconds. Tiger Assassin has 3. Dazza also has 3. Infamella 3. GSY Bates with a drive-through. Robert Codfather on 5 and Edison on 6 seconds of penalties then. So those are our penalties. I'll keep them on screen for a bit to give everybody time to read them.
And having a look at the position changes in the first half of the race, Brizzy's gone up 10 places from the start of this race, made the biggest jump of anyone really. Jutsi and RCF gone up by 1, Victor up 3, Dazza up 4.
Brizzy up 10 though as well here, I'm seeing on my screen. That's a very good performance there from the McLaren, our biggest movers and shakers there. I think JMB down to 6 from his starting position, so has lost out the most there, I think.
And Jutsikev has he's caught up to the safety car, but he's got a lot of traffic in front of him. There's Edison, Robert Godfather and Hampton are all in front of the Red Bull driver. That's not going to help him.
No, certainly not. It is going to help Rick Holt, who currently leads this race. He's got 3 cars in between him and second, which is Jutsikov at the moment. That's definitely not going to help the Red Bull.
Yeah, hopefully those 3 guys get out of the way as quick as possible in the restart. And
yeah, we've got the safety car out once again here, but does give us a chance to just digest the opening stint there. If you are just joining us, under safety car limit, Rick Holt's in the gravel, Natty! Rick Holt's in the gravel under the safety car. Hasn't been overtaken by another car, but has gone off into the gravel.
Hampton's overtaken the safety car. That could get disqualified.
No, I think because Rick Holt went off the track, the safety car had to wait for him. But because Hampton was a lapped car, that's essentially allowed Hampton to gain that lap back now on the rest of the field, because he has to go and catch up to the back of the pack because Rick Holt went off track. So now there's only 2 cars in between Jutsikov and Rick Holt, so I'm sure Jutsi will be sitting there hoping for Rick Holt to make a couple more mistakes to let those other 2 cars go past as well before we get back to green flag racing here. I think we're going to have at least another lap of safety car here in Suzuka.
Yeah, Suzuka, common track where it's safety cars as we've seen in the past. But Absolute 11, he's going to be rapid on those medium tyres compared to the guys around him on the hards. RC8's really I know he's done 2 laps on the hards and the majority of them have been under the safety car, but yeah, Absolute's pace is going to be pretty quick compared to the guys around him.
I think one thing that we haven't really seen though, Nat, is that it's quite difficult to make overtakes around here, so even with that tyre advantage, will he be able to get past the other 2 cars quickly enough to then get after Rick Holt and use the softer compounder tyres? We've got 2 cars in the pits, so it's the back markers actually, Natty, and they've both come in. So I think, yeah, Robert Codfather and Edison both into the pits. Robert Codfather coming off those softs on a set of mediums. I think that's to serve their 5-second time penalties. Edison's gone to a set of softs. That may not be the wisest decision. We've got 14 laps left to run, including this one, so we'll be starting to feel the tyre wear a bit. But now, actually, there's no cars in between Jutsikov and Rick Holt, so I think he'll be grinning a bit more inside the cockpit of that Red Bull car.
Yeah, I think Jutsikov's a bit. Rick.
Your mic is broken.
I really need to get a new one.
Yes, you do.
Almost Christmas.
Always keep it chill here. So big thank you to all 39 of you watching this Gavra Racing race indeed here at Suzuka for the Freshman League. If you are just joining us, Rick Holt took pole by about a second, our Academy League champion coming up into the Freshman League and showing what he is made of, and then him and Absolute had a titanic battle in the opening stages of the race in which Rick Holt would prevail coming up towards the first pit stops. Both drivers came into the pits onto a set of hard tyres, then we had the safety car come out after Al-Bakir ref lost the car at 130R. Makes so much sense, it even rhymes. And under the safety car, Absolute has pitted from second position onto a set of medium tyres, and that's going to try and take himself to the end of the race from here on lap 14. Still got 14 laps left to run, including this one. Doesn't make much sense, you know, that's how they count it in F1. I think Hampton's gone off again. He has indeed gone off again at the S's, so whether or not the game will allow for him to catch up before we get back to racing, it will not be allowing Hampton to catch back up, because as we go over the bridge, Hampton's coming under it. So we are coming towards the end of this safety car period. Then Rick Holt's going to lead us to the green flag. The first time he's done a safety car restart in the Freshman League, but let's see if he can execute it as well as the other drivers. And safety car coming in at the end of this lap, Hampton picks up a 3-second time penalty. No glitches under the safety car for the first time in what feels like forever. Jutsikov had a big slide, big power slide out of that corner, coming onto the main straight, but Rick Holt's got a good jump on the rest of the field, and he's to lead us away in towards turn 1. Yellow's in sector 3 though, I'm not too sure what that was for. Going back to green flag though. Absolute, they're trying to make a move on RC8, indeed does make a move on RC8 into turn 1. That says straight away off the bat, Absolute not messing around and making these positions up that he needs to. He needs to get past Jutsikov quickly, as Jutsikov's gone wide actually. You've got Yellow's in sector 3, that's going to be Hampton who's gone off again, and Yellow's in sector 1 now as well though. That's back to green flag racing. The Red Bulls go wheel to to wheel at the end of the S's, and Absolute's going to go wheel to wheel with his teammate into the first Degner. Absolute gets ahead and up into second place. 3 seconds though now behind Rick Holt in the lead of this race.
Yeah, those medium tyres really working well for Absolute 11. I think Jutsuke might have let him go through, but Rick Holt already a 3-second lead, 2.8 second lead over Absolute 11. Absolute will be trying to push as hard as he can and get the most out of those medium tyres to try and close down the gap from the Mercedes in front.
Yeah, Black Country Mush in the chat there saying cold hearts. I think exactly right. Those car tyres didn't seem to warm up on the Alfa Romeo and the Red Bull, and Absolute was able to just swoop by them really quickly. So really not messing around here. And actually Tiger's now closer to the back of RC8 than he has been this entire race here, with about 12 laps left to run. As after the safety car window, Natty, this has really invigorated this race, and we're going to have a Titanic battle in the closing stages here in Japan.
Yeah, definitely. The lead out front is slowly but surely coming down, and we might see a big battle for the lead in the next few laps if Absolute can keep his pace up. He's already got the gap behind to his teammate, but Tiger and RC8 are both closing in on the Red Bull driver, so maybe Jutsuke struggled to warm his tyres up under the safety car.
It's got a beautiful camera shot of all three of those cars coming through turn 1 there. Let's look at RC8 then now. He's trying to close on to the back of Jutsuke here for 3rd place and more points on his championship rival. And Tiger though, despite having that spin and that wing damage, still finds himself up there in 5th place.
Yeah, that safety car really helped him out as Tensuri's going to go down inside of Victor through turn 7. Victor running a little bit wide, but Tensuri, really good move down the inside to get his racing point up into 9th place. We've got a nice train forming for 9th place, which should provide some good battles in the midfield as well.
Certainly, and Daz is now sniffing at the back of the AlphaTauri, who might go for a move into the hairpin, decides to back out of it though. Saba the Mister trying to get better traction off the corner, and Daz is round! Daz is round under the power, and he needs to be very careful here coming back on track, and needs to be careful that he doesn't get disqualified from the race. I think Robert Codfather's just gone off into the wall there, but yeah, Daz is spinning round then at the hairpin. He's have to be very careful, as I just said, as RC looking to close on the back of Jutsuke now coming through 130R. That gap over a second though, as Tonios and Brizzy now very close together on the exit of 130R, go down into the final chicane. Nothing doing there for
JMB
Tonios.
and Victor going side by side into 130R. JMB going down the inside, getting the move done. Victor though runs wide. I don't know if there was contact, I couldn't quite see from the camera angle the game gave. But Tonios once again closing in on Brizzy through to turn 1. He's going to look for the inside but decides to back out in the end.
And Victor comes into the pits there, Natty. So I think he's got damage from that wheel-to-wheel action through 130R with JMB. Tunchuri, though, has lost a position to Saba the Mister, who always nearly lost it at turn 2 there. Runs onto the grass and gets a massive tank slapper. Manages to keep it, though, and stay in the points-paying position, but goes wide again and nearly takes out JMB Surreal.
Saba the Mister just kind of needs to get his concentration, his rhythm back a little bit. A very easy track to spin at, especially in the first sector. We've seen quite a few people actually lose it in the first sector. But Tonios is going to try maybe look for moving Brizzy. Brizzy running a little bit wide through the hairpin, and we might see another side-by-side action moment through 130R potentially.
Yeah, I think Tonios has got nearly no ERS left to play with, though. It's going to head up towards 130R. Let's stay on this battle with these two then. I don't think JMB is going to be making a move anytime soon. But the AlphaTauri now in the slipstream of the McLaren. I don't think he's got enough straight line speed to have a go in towards 130R. Indeed, the McLaren pulling away in a straight line there. So Brizzy perhaps running less front wing on that McLaren to stay ahead of the AlphaTauri at the moment, coming through the final chicane and on towards lap 19 of 27 here. That gap out in front, Natty, now down to 1.3 seconds though.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to try and want to get that gap down to at least within DRS if he wants to have it, to try and have a fight against the Mercedes before his medium tyres start to.
Oh, we've got Saba the Mister going on the move for Tunchuri for 9th position once again. Gets it done nice and cleanly, no dramas through turn 2 this time either. So gets to be done himself up into 9th position.
Good move.
Oh, JMB.
The Ferrari.
JMB tried to have a go at Tunchuri and gets a massive snap of oversteer through turn 5 there.
But the gap out front's kind of opened up a little bit now, 1.7, 1.8 seconds. Rick Holt does have equal penalty, well I say equal penalties with Jutsi Kev. Absolute's got a
Oh,
5-second penalty.
Tonios.
Tonios looking to go down the inside of Brizzy. These two are going to still go side by side in the run down to Spoon.
I think the AlphaTauri tucks back into the slipstream. No, there's been big contact, and Tonios goes to the back of the McLaren. He's on the racing line now at Spoon, gets his car off the track nice and cleanly there so that we can not have another safety car here. But I think Tonios just missing his braking point, careering into the back of the McLaren. That spun him round now, and Brizzy's back underway here. Rick Holtz really picked up the pace though now, nice. That gap up to 2.5 seconds between our front two. I'm going to have some action into 130R here. Infamella on the outside, Brizzy on the inside, and they get the switch back maybe into the Casio triangle, but can't make it work.
Unfortunate there for Brizzy. Just tapped in the rear by Tonios, dropping down to 10th place. Cost him a lot of time, but here comes JMB Surreal on Centurion to turn 1 and gets the move done before the corner. But yeah, Rick Holt pulling out a 2.9 second gap out front. He's really pushing on those hard tyres now.
Yeah, certainly. I think he's definitely felt the wake-up call. Saw Absolute was closing that gap very, very quickly and wants to get back on it and reconsolidate his lead in this race. And our top 3 or 4 5 cars even are really, really spaced out at the moment. But we've got Ace Salah now all over the back of Tonios for 6th position, so he's also trying to come back in this race after having a few lag dramas and spins earlier on. But Edison now picking up another 3-second time penalty around this track.
Yeah, Absolute with a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That's not going to help him in his course to try and win this race. The gap now 3 seconds, so yeah, Rick Holtz just really found the pace on those hard tyres.
Yeah, I'm riding on board with Infamella now in his pursuit of Brizzy for 11th position. Currently 5 tenths between these two. Big lock up there from the Ferrari into the second part of Spoon. And he's going to be using his overtake now to try and close onto the back of a McLaren in his slipstream now as we head down towards 130R. Bitsy fast to make a move into the high-speed left-hander, but maybe a bit closer for a move into the final chicane. Decides to not go for it here into the final chicane and try and get the slipstream and DRS advantage down the main straight, but Brizzy with a lot more ERS deployment available to him than the Ferrari behind, although Infamella does have a DRS now, which provides you about an extra 10 miles an hour advantage down the main straight. Can Infamella make a move into turn 1? Just a little bit too far away, I think.
Yeah, Infamella not quite close enough to get the move done just yet, but there's still 8 laps to go in this race, and you might see him make a machine. He does have that 3-second time penalty though. That's not going to help him against Brizzy, who's currently got no penalties. A lot of the drivers actually able to not pick up any time penalties and keep within the track limits.
Yeah, certainly. I think RC and the majority of the grid actually managing to keep away from the penalty. Oh, that's Brizzy going wide and Infamella going through. So Brizzy goes wide and Infamella up into 11th position now, but Ellison somehow has picked up 19 seconds worth of time penalties here, Natty.
Yeah, Brizzy's kind of lost a little bit of rhythm since that collision with Tonios down at Spoon Curve. It's dropped him down to 12th place. He needs to find a rhythm back. He's on the hard tyres and might fight back later on in this race.
Yeah, I think those tyres are still a bit cooked from that incident beforehand, Natty. I think that might be why we're seeing Brizzy struggle so much after that spin and contact with Tonios. But J&B Surreal now is tucked up under the gearbox of Sabba the Mister as we're going to work our way onto the main straight once again. DRS open for the Renault, trying to chase down the Ferrari now in towards turn 1. Probably a bit too far away to make the speed. Let's see what he can do. He's gaining all the time though in towards turn 1 and 2. Just a bit too far not to make a move on this current lap though.
It's getting closer and closer and closer, but not quite close enough just yet. The gap up the front though still around 3 seconds, so Rick Holt and Absolute keeping pace with one another, kind of pulling away from Jutsu Kev a little bit. The gap 4.3 seconds to Absolute's teammate behind, but the gap's starting to open a little bit out top now.
Yeah, so I think it is starting to open up a bit more at the sharp end of the grid. If it were to finish like this, absolutely once. Oh, was J&B Surreal's dived down the inside of Sabba the Mister. There's contact, and I assume J&B will be giving that position back because he did gain an advantage with the contact of the other car. I think, well, if he doesn't get that position back, there will probably be a penalty coming his way. GSY Bates is off, though, in the first sector once again, and I don't think we're going to get a safety car for that. And has managed, just wait for the other two cars to go past him before rejoining the track. Some nice safe stuff there from the Williams, not wanting to cause a big crash. But JMB Surreal then just diving it down the inside of Saber. There was contact made, and he has gone through into 8th position now. But Saber, the Messi looking to pay back the favour, goes down the inside at the final chicane, but double lock up on the front. Goes wide and goes off track, gets a 3-second time penalty, and comes straight into the pit lane there.
It's the Sano into the pits. It looks like a wing change as well for the Ferrari.
Yellow in sector 2. I think that's
GSY Bates.
Yes, at the second Degner, and he is just stuck there. I don't know if he's going to be able to get going again. He's doing it quickly though, because here comes RC8 now around the second Degner, and does indeed manage to keep out of the way of our front runners.
We've had quite a few individual mistakes here, so maybe the tyres not working well for some of the drivers that are commonly in sector 1. I think they've just been getting onto the curbs and maybe onto the power a bit too soon, and that's what's been causing all these spins. But Rick Hart is still pulling away from Absolute ever so slightly. They're 56 seconds now from the gap behind.
Do we say it, Natty? Do we say the L word? Shall we inject some surprise?
Let's do it. But if anything happens, it's your fault.
Oh, Victor's gone off. I didn't even have to say it. Victor's gone off. Victor's gone off before the first couple of Degners. No damage done though, but he was running outside of the points anyway. Natty, I think we hit a bit of a lull, mate. We've hit a bit of a lull here in the freshman league race so far.
I think we might have, with 4 laps to go.
Hit a bit of a lull. This is where the commentator's curse power gets tested. Then, so who will be the first?
Who's the first victim?
Well, it's not going to be Ace Saber, I don't think, because he's just gone through Terminal 2 now. He's pretty much safe, not really around anybody. A lot of cars really spaced out at the moment. Tonio's coming through the S's once again as well. All of our cars really spaced out on track here. Inferno picking up another 3-second time penalty then, with 5 laps going.
Tonio's is off!
No way. Antonio's is round, but again, but no damage. He's not going to lose the position to JMB Surreal either.
But lost the position to Ace Savo. But now this has brought JMB Surreal really close behind the AlphaTauri driver. He's still sliding around on those hard tyres. That was Robert Godfather, but Tim Turi's also closed in on this back, so JMB Surreal a little bit.
Yellow's in sector 1 now. Hampton's up. Oh, what has happened there? And Hampton is safety car.
I think that is a safety.
Oh no!
Oh dear.
What has happened? Hampton, he's just stuck on the wall. What in the world? What? He's been reset to the track. Sabada Mister's now retired from the. I don't know why he's retired from the session. Victor's now gone past the Ferrari as well. A safety car with 4 laps to go. Yeah, this is a bit.
And the 2 leaders haven't pitted.
Everyone else has though.
They've gone past. I think they went past the pit lane.
They have indeed, but Natty, are we even going to get back to green flag racing here? Because
I think the safety car will. I think it will come in either this lap or the next. Normally there's 3 laps until the end.
It has to come in next lap, Natty, because we can't finish a race behind the safety car in the game. So then, it's worked.
Yeah.
So Hampton mounting the barrier has caused another safety car here in the freshman league race at Suzuka, and we're going to have a corker, I'm sure, at the end of this race. But are they going to be able to catch up to the rest of the pack before we get back to green flag racing?
I'm not sure, but Jitsu Kevin RC have pitted, come out in 3rd and 4th. Tiger though has come out all the way down in 9th after pitting for the soft tyres. The guys behind him haven't pit. They've all stayed out on their 11th lap mediums and hards. It's going to be quite tricky to get back past.
I don't know if that was the best decision from Tiger to go onto a set of soft tyres. I think the Jitsukev and RC8 100% made sense because they're going to have so much more pace now than these front two. I think, is a safety car coming in this lap? It's going to stay out, Natty. We haven't got the lights off just yet. So safety car will be staying out for another lap here. You've got cars going slowly around the track, still obeying that delta time, obviously. Yeah, going to have a safety car out for another lap here, Natty, so it's going to allow for everybody to catch back up again.
And someone, Cryptex made a very good point in the chat. Tonio's could effectively still win this race. He's got no penalties. Wow. Rick Hole and Jitsukev have 3 seconds. RC8 and Absolute have 5.
This could get very tasty towards the end of this race. I think we should be banned from saying that word. I know we've imposed this ban on ourselves and we keep breaking it, but yeah,
it's quite effective.
It happens again. Clearly, it is very effective.
The past results.
Yeah, it has a 100% success rate of adding a little bit of spice to the race, a little bit of drama.
If anyone's having a bad race in their next league race, just say, "Oh, we've reached a bit of a lull, and then we should be in the top 10 podium."
You'll probably win the race. I mean, Tonio's could still win this race, technically, Natty.
It's anyone's. It is a tricky track to overtake on, though, with only a few laps to go.
And you aren't going to have the DRS advantage, Natty, because there's only 2 laps left to run here, even after this one. So it's going to go down to the wire. We've got Jitsukev and RC8 in 3rd and 4th on fresh soft tyres. We have Absolute and Rick Holt, your race leaders, on worn hard tyres and worn medium tyres. I don't know how to call this, Natty, because it all depends on how fast Jitsukev can get past Absolute and Rick Holt into the lead of the race. He's not going to have a lot of chances to do it, basically. Let's put it like that.
And we saw in the last safety car restart that Rick Holt struggled a little bit to get someone struggled to get the warm tyres and the hard tyres. I think
the hard tyres, actually, to switch back on again.
And with Jitsukev and RC8 on the fresh tyres, they're going to have some mega pace towards this race. This is going to be a very interesting couple of laps.
I think that we are going to get the safety car in this lap, though, as I think it does automatically come in with about 2 laps left to go, no matter where the other cars are out on track. So yeah, I think Dazzle will be the last person allowed to catch up to the pack before we go to the green flag here again for 2 more laps around this track. Indeed, safety car in this lap. Rick Holt becomes our de facto safety car then with 2 laps left to go. It's worked. We've added a bit of spice to this race. As here we go. It's a 2-lap shootout.
To see how far Ty can get up on those fresh softs as well.
Certainly, but we're going to have a 2-lap shootout then for the lead in this race. Massive ramifications for the championship potentially. Here we go, 2 laps to go, boys. Let's show us what you got. As straight away, Rick Holt pulling to the inside to defend from Absolute in the slip. She's going to go to the outside into turn 1 potentially. Has gone to the inside, even in towards turn 2. That camera shot not giving us the best view of that particular battle. Jitsukev though on his fresh soft tyres all over the back of this pack as well. Tigers up into 8th position already. Nasty off the safety car restart. Lap 26 of 27 here. The lull has worked. Jitsukev is all over the back of Absolute. Now up the top of the S's section. RC8 all over the back of these 3 as well. Is going to come towards the first deck. Can Jitsukev go for a move into the hairpin through the first deck, into 7th gear, down into 4th gear for the second part. Carry the speed through the corner, doing qualifying laps now in that Red Bull. Here comes Jitsukev though, close enough to have a go maybe into the hairpin. He's gone for it down the inside. Jitsukev on the inside, battling with his teammate now. Our 2 leaders in the championship going wheel to wheel. They've had battles before, Natty, as Jitsukev now tucks into the slipstream once again. Will Absolute go defensive in towards Spoon. Here comes Jitsi on the fresher tyres. He's going to go wheel to wheel with his teammate through Spoon for the second part of Spoon, Natty. They're still wheel to wheel. They're going to go side by side into 130R here. Surely, Natty, both drivers using up their ERS. Absolute pulls back into the slipstream here of his Red Bull teammate. We'll go nearly wheel to wheel into 130R. Neither driver going for it just yet, though. Absolute on worn mediums. Jitsukev on fresh softs. Absolute nothing he can do to defend. Going to go to the final lap of the race here, Natty. 1.1 seconds now to lead out in front. Can Jitsukev do this? Can he get Rick Holt on the final lap of this race? Yellow's in sector 3 once again. I'm not sure who's gone off there, but Rick Holt's on the fastest lap of the race once again, Natty. He's using up all of his ERS that he can to try and stay ahead of the marauding Red Bulls behind him. RC8 in 4th position as well here, but Kev 1.2 seconds now behind Rick Holt. He's maybe got about 3 opportunities to try and get past the Mercedes on this one lap of the race, but it looks like he's going to need a mistake here from Rick Holt to try and get past and win another race in the Freshman League.
Absolute's round! Absolute's lost it!
Oh no! Absolute's round. That's going to drop him massive positions. Could drop him out of the points here. But he's going to drop behind the Racing Point and Ferrari. He can't turn the car back round, Natty. And he's just stuck there, falling out of the points here, Natty. He needs to spin it back round and get going again. Otherwise he will get disqualified. He's down in 12th position, Natty. It's happened again in Femella's round as well. And there's even a massive crash of Dazza as we've got another manic race at the end. As Dazza now trying to get back through the field behind Ace de Sabo now. Jitsi Kev's still behind Rick Holt on this one lap of the race. 1.3 seconds here on the last lap, but Absolute lost it on the final lap of the race here. That's going to be massive for the championship. He's going to score 0 points here, Natty. Rick Holt's going to come through 130R for the final lap of this race. He has shown why he has won the Academy Series and why he is held in such a high regard amongst many of the other drivers in the other leagues. It's going to be Rick Holt now to come around the final quarter. Rick Holt is going to win the Japanese Grand Prix in the Freshman League, and what a win it was.
And then here comes Tonios with limited penalties, goes up into 2nd place.
J&B Surreal gets 4th. And Tiger's going to drop a position to RC8 and finish 6th here, Natty. So that move to the soft tyres wasn't the way to go for Tiger in the end there. And Tenturian 7th, Brizzy in 8th, Ace Sabo 9th. And he's going to take the final point because Absolute, Natty, lost it on the final lap with the damage. And that's come into the pit lane here to finish what has been a hugely disappointing race for him. And that's going to really, really be a kick in the teeth, I'm sure, for Absolute.
So close, J&B Cyril, Jitsukev and Antonios for that podium. A 10th, 7th. You start.
I don't.
Wow.
Wow.
Sorry?
I mean, sorry to Absolute, but the end of that race was insane.
The power of the L word.
The power of the L word has been unleashed in the Freshman League, but Rick Holt then puts himself in the history books as being another driver to take a win here in the Freshman League after having such a good battle with Rick Holt in the opening stages of the race. Will take home the win here for the Mercedes team, their first win of the season, replacing Alex on the Mack here in the Freshman League. But what a race that was. What an end to the race that was. Things calmed down a little bit in the middle stages, but towards the end it really took off.
Yeah, definitely, and obviously due to that last lap unfortunate spin from Absolute 11 won't be increasing his points at the top of the table, but his nearest rival RC8 in 5th place and Jutsukev in 3rd, so Jutsukev might actually jump RC8 possibly in the standings.
Jutsukev got the fastest lap as well by less than 1/10 of a second, so that's going to help him as well in his championship ambitions, I'm sure. But the championship is once again, Natty, wide open. With a finish outside of the points for Absolute, big points gained on him by RC8, and as you said, Jutsukev here, it's all to play for once again in the Freshman League. 3 races to go, Mexico, Brazil and Abu Dhabi. That's going to round us off here in the Freshman League. So Rick Holt took the win, Tonios in 2nd and Jutsukev in 3rd. I think it's going to time me out of the session here before I get to read the rest of them. J&B Surreal though in 4th, RC8 5th, Tiger in 6th, and I didn't get to see who was in 7th, but what a race that was. I'm literally crying. I'm sort of crying with laughter, I guess, tears of joy. But what a race that was. I think, yeah, we've had some amazing races in Gavra. I think that's got to go down as one of the better ones as well, just for the safety car restart and the way that everything unfolded. That the power of the L word strikes again. But yeah, Natty, your instant reaction from the race.
Just, well, we had pretty much everything that race, including that last lap. The last few laps after the safety car restart. The fresh tyres working to Jutsukev's advantage, but you can't take anything away from the amazing drive from the Mercedes at the top.
Yeah, I think definitely a good race from JMB as well. I didn't even see who the game gave driver of the day, but well, that was a real corker at the end of any of that race. Big thanks to all 29 of you still with us here at the end of the Japanese Grand Prix and the Freshman Series. We hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have, and don't forget to join Tiger and Evan tomorrow in the Premier Series, where Natty will be racing again at the same track. And don't forget to join Tiger and Cypher Night on Thursday, for again we will be in Suzuka for the Super League. And on Friday we're still keeping with our Japanese theme, as the GT Sport League will be in Tokyo Expressway South in the Loop, I believe it is. Natty, is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Indeed it is. I've got the right tracks, so I know that for Friday. And on Sunday we have the Weekend League once again, which is in Suzuka. No, in Silverstone, sorry. Going to Suzuka next week. So we've got a lot of Suzuka coming up for you in the next couple of weeks here in Gavra. But obviously big thanks to Gav for organising this and allowing us to go racing. Don't forget to check out the YouTube as well. New episode of the podcast we will be doing soon, and we'll be going out even sooner. But yeah, that was a crazy race, and we hope to see you all next week's going to be a goodbye from me and Natty.
Goodbye, and see you.
Oh yeah.